If you've ever lost a loved one, then you are going to really identify with the conversation that we're having on Don and Steve Plus today. Sometimes losing that person comes very suddenly and there's a shock to the system. Other times, it is a process and you're saying goodbye almost every day. Well, that's what this conversation is about today.
Welcome to the Dawn and Steve Plus podcast, fueled by Raphael's Roastery and supported by you. Connect to us on socials or dawnandsteveplus.com.
Been a minute since Dawn and Steve Plus have been without a plus.
That's true. We have had guests in the studio quite a bit recently.
Which I love.
I do too.
The conversations, they're always so encouraging. But I'm curious what's been going on in the Hiller household of late.
Well, of late, we had a vacation. We have come back, kind of settling into the routine of regular life, as what that's going to look like during the summer, as we're on a little bit of a homeschool break.
Okay.
We had some family move to town, which has been exciting. My
Nice.
sister and her husband moved here about a month ago, and it has been so fun to have them here now.
Do you know, I still have not seen them with my own eyes since they moved here.
Really?
Nope.
Wow.
I keep thinking I need to invite her to coffee
Yeah.
so that I could see her. Life's been a little crazy for us lately.
Oh, yes.
I've not been able to do that, but it's on my things to do list.
All right. So why has life been a little crazy for you?
Well, how fun. I didn't want to interrupt that thought. How fun is it to have your sister in the same town where you are?
Oh, it has been something that we have hoped would happen one day.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that she has longed for years and years and years. For a long time, we lived in Chicago, and she was out in Southern California. And then she moved up to Northern California, and we ended up moving to Tennessee. And she was very intentional about making trips to see us
She sure
and
was.
to try and be involved, at least as involved as she was able to be in our kids' lives.
Mm-hmm.
But that's hard to do when you're like
From the West
2,500,
Coast.
3,000 miles away. Right. So the fact that they are now 12 minutes down the road
Yay.
is just a massive game changer.
Yay. I love that because I know you guys are close. I know how much she loves Susie and the kids, and her husband also very much part of the family.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time we were at Ava's birthday. Susan was not able to be here. She sent this card. Do you remember this? That
Oh,
Ava
yeah.
opened and like butterflies went out everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Not real ones. They looked real. That was just the coolest thing. I'm like, that is the coolest aunt. I wonder if I know I'm older, but I wonder if she'd be my aunt. You think she'd be my Susan, will you be my aunt?
Man, that would be an interesting way to try and figure out how to make that work.
Cousin?
But
I
there you
mean,
go.
Okay.
That
Just
could work.
adopt me. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Adopt me. She has so much
You're
that
in
I
the
want to
family.
learn. Well, thank you. She has a lot that I want to learn from her. So I am looking forward to seeing her in person, and Joe too, because
Yeah.
he's a chef. I want
Oh, man.
to learn.
So we dropped the kids off at their house the other day.
Yeah.
We walked in, and Susie and I were going to go out for dinner, and the kids were eating with them. And we walked in, and the house, first it smells amazing.
Wow.
And then we walk into the kitchen, and he's got all these things simmering on the stove, and he's talking about, this with this special sauce and seasoning, and you did a reduction down to whatever, like stuff that I don't really understand what half of it means.
I do.
But it sounds so fancy,
I
and it
understand.
smelled so good. I'm like, maybe we should cancel those dinner reservations and just eat here.
Mm-hmm. That would have been it. I bet what he served, even though you probably went to a nice restaurant, I'll bet that what he served was better.
I'm sure it was. I mean, our dinner was good, but I bet theirs was better. And when we asked the kids about dinner later, they're like, Mom, Dad, it was so good. I'm like, I have no doubt it was.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad they're here.
Yeah. Yeah,
know
I am
you
too.
are too.
But you said life has been crazy for you.
Just a little crazy.
A little crazy.
Yeah. So
What's going
my
on?
family, but the bulk of my family, which is, it depends on how you count heads, but my mom lives in central Kentucky. And it's about a 3.5 hour drive, 3:40. Usually I have to stop at least once to go to the bathroom. So I just say it's a 4-hour drive. And she's working on going home to be with the Lord. Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
It's hard. It's so many things.
I would imagine there's this great tension.
Yes.
Because she knows the Lord.
She does.
Right. And so when she does pass, she's going to be completely healed and in his presence.
And
a right
she's
mind
looking
and
forward to
everything,
that.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet at the same time, It's saying goodbye to your mom.
It's a loss. It's
Yeah.
hard. I and so last week, I have a precious stepdaddy and stepbrother and stepsister who I have known even before our parents got married. We had been
Yeah.
friends for years. So they're very near and dear to my heart. Just love them, appreciate them so much. When they were on vacation, we all knew. Like
Yep.
my stepsister knew, and she lives a couple hours north of them. And so we said, if anything happens, like we will figure it out, right? Last Monday, I got a call that said, because mom's under hospice care, and we have a wonderful caregiver who, oh my goodness. But they both called and said, your mom has a fever. And I'm like, I'm
Not
on
good.
my way. I just know what that means. So I just canceled. I had so much on that Monday, and I got a doctor's appointment in, and then just canceled the rest of the day and went up there and sat by her for about 3 days. And then she rallied.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been through anything like this, but that can happen.
Sure.
So she, for 3.5 years, has been up and down, and dementia, Alzheimer's has been part of this journey. So this time, though, I was like, you kind of see the changes in her physical appearance.
Yeah.
So, but Wednesday morning, after sleeping for 48 hours and looking like she was going to take her last breath any moment, she wakes up and she's smiling. And she's still, because of the dementia, she's not making sense, but
Sure.
she's trying to. That didn't last long, of course. Then she goes downhill again, and then she gets really agitated over the weekend. And again, I've had these experiences with a few different family members, and everybody's different. There's no real textbook
Right.
on this stuff. I've experienced it, though, enough to kind of put
You
pieces
kinda see
to,
patterns,
so-and-so
maybe?
did that, right.
Yeah.
Before he passed, this was going on. And before she passed, this was going on. And we were there, so we witnessed it. So when mom started doing all these different things, I'm like, okay, we're definitely on the decline. Now, today, as of the recording of this podcast, and by release, she might be with Jesus.
Yeah.
But she was hurting everywhere.
Mm.
And my stepbrother's an EMT, and hospice had been in, and they said when the organs shut down, that can happen.
Yeah.
Where there's just no comfort. So hospice is involved, and I'm really, really grateful for that. They will keep her as comfortable as possible. But she has been talking for a couple of years now, Steve, about like, when I'm done here, I will be with Jesus, even in her dementia.
Yeah.
She was talking about going home and being with the Lord, because that was one thing she knew, despite everything else that her mind was betraying her over. She knew she was going to be in heaven with the Lord, and she would be whole.
So watching your mom go through everything that she has been going through has got to be it's hard. It has to be tough. But yet, at the same time, when she is talking like that, what's that do to your soul?
There, again, more layers of answer. My soul is at peace because I'm very close to my mama.
Yeah.
And we've been very close like my whole life. Yeah. So it's like I told my stepdaddy a couple days ago, I said, she is with me every moment. We always said we had an apron string that was still attached, even though I usually lived far away. After school and getting married, we moved. And so I still felt that attachment. But so as she's passing away, I'm like feeling that tension under my skin from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And so I'm asking the Lord, like, I trust you. I know my soul is at peace. There's part of my mind that is at real peace because of what you're asking me, like knowing that she knows the Lord.
Yeah.
And that he's the author, perfecter, and finisher of our faith. He knows the days that he's given her. That brings me great comfort. I've been spending a lot of time talking to him about that. A lot of time letting go and trusting him with this whole process. There's also that physical part of you that is close to your loved one that you're feeling the tension. I felt like and I don't remember my biology as far as epidermis and subepidermis or what any, but
Right.
I felt like there was like 3 layers of skin, and that third layer of skin was the one that was on fire because mom was going through this. So you felt that physically, but again, like you're at peace. There's not an easy answer to that question.
Yeah.
It's all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would imagine that because of the relationship that you've had with your mom and as close as you guys have been throughout your entire life,
Mm-hmm.
that this just sits there and churns.
Mm-hmm.
And churns. Like you said, she's always with you.
Mm-hmm.
But some days she's more in the forefront of your thoughts. And
Certainly.
just, I know you're doing all the things you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But even as you're doing all the things you need to do, it's
Oh.
just sitting there.
It is. It's the, we talk about tapes, good tapes and bad tapes and how
Yeah.
they run. And then there's this one that, and I prayed today, and because when I got another call from hospice, and I just said, okay, Lord, what do I do? And this is wild for me because like something happens, I go.
Yep.
Today, something happened, and I just heard, stay right now. Just stay. Like I didn't hear the word, but I just felt it in my spirit that I was not to get in the car right then. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just know that when that settles in my heart and my spirit like that, I listen, or I try, because I've not listened in the past, and things don't go as well and peacefully. So I'm just waiting, and every day it's kind of the same things he's been teaching me for a year now. It's like, serve me today.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sensed that I needed to finish what was on task for today, and that the reminder was, I've got mom. The Lord has mom, and that she's getting good care, and
Yeah.
my stepbrother's back from vacation as of today.
Yeah.
So there's that piece that is good to know. So yeah, it's a thing right now.
It's a big thing
It's a thing
right now.
Mhm.
And, as you think through just the impact that your mom has had on your life,
Mm.
the intimacy of the relationship that you have had with her, like, what do you think has been the big thing that your mom has left in your life? Like, what's her big mark on you?
I was asking the Lord this, or not asking, I was telling the Lord, I'm like, if she comes home to be with you today, thank you that she has been such a faithful mama to me, that she has been there through thick and thin. My parents are divorced.
Mm-hmm.
She has taught me to be strong and follow the Lord and seek him, even though there were years where she didn't. She would say the words, like, you know what the Lord will want you to do.
Yeah.
And I knew she believed that. And then, of course, she came back to the Lord, and she taught me that I'm a nurse's kid. If it's not breaking through the skin and bleeding and needs a tourniquet, you're fine. It's okay. That taught me just a lot of resiliency.
Yeah.
A lot of things, that this does not have to define you for the rest of your life. You can come back from this. She also taught me in the loyalty piece. I remember, I remember one of those high school boys broke my heart, and we would get back together after the initial breakup, and she used to like him just fine, and then she didn't.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, Mama, I mean, why? It's still the same guy. And she goes, you break my baby's heart, and that's it. He'll do it again. And he would go on to do it again. She was a pretty good
She was
judge
right.
character.
Yeah.
But I just remember her grieving with me,
Mm.
and how much of a presence that was for me through all the heartbreaks that you would go through as a young person, through all of the disappointments. She would teach me resiliency
Mhm.
and toughness, but she would also teach me compassion.
Wow. That's cool. When you think about her impact on your walk with the Lord,
Mhm.
as you said, she didn't always walk intimately with him, but yet she still knew him
Mhm.
and still believed and still encouraged you. And then you got to watch her,
Mhm.
in a sense, come back to him and that intimacy with him once again. Like, what are your thoughts of watching your mom, in a sense, struggle with him for a while and then come back to him? Like, What was that like to watch that?
I had a front row seat to the struggle because as a single mom, my brother and I were, in the home with her and
Yeah.
watching her try to figure out singleness and friendships. And it was challenging. And I remember Kevin and I, my brother's not with us anymore either, but I remember us going to her and saying, this may not be the healthiest of things. And she was going through a phase and kind of mind your own business. I'm an adult here and you're
You're
kids.
not. Yeah.
Right. But I always saw the tension.
Mm.
She knew she was operating in the flesh. She knew she was operating in a way that she wanted to. And she also knew that she needed to repent, and she did.
Yeah.
And she turned back. And the Lord blessed her after that. When she repented and turned back, like he was blessed with a relationship. She's been married to my stepdaddy for 37 years.
Mm.
And he has been so kind and so good. He took such good care of her. They had great companionship, traveled, and also like cared for my brother and I as if we were his own. And he had 4 of his own biological. So yeah, when she repented, it was a pretty amazing thing to watch.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think there are a lot of us who maybe have gone through seasons where we're like, you know what? I know what I should do, but I'm going to do what I want to do anyway.
Yeah.
You've heard me say this before. The heart wants what it wants, and it is going to go after what it wants. And it's only through, I think, the Lord, in a sense, smacking me upside the head and saying, hey.
He'll do that for us,
Yeah, and
won't
he will do
He
that,
will.
right? That he brings us back into that intimate relationship and fellowship with him again. But yeah, it's cool to watch someone, in a sense, return home to dad.
Yeah. Abba, Abba Father.
Yeah.
And to think about just how gracious he is. As I think back, when you asked me that question, I can see us in our home. And I can almost now, in hindsight, feel the Holy Spirit as he protected us in ways that at the time we had no idea.
Yeah.
But to then know that he was working in Mom's heart to say, I got to leave this. I can't do this anymore. I've got to follow the Lord.
Yeah. That's so cool to think of that, and just the impact that has had on you to, watch your mom do that and to see her return back to him. And in a sense, the days are numbered before she's going to be returning in a sense. She's not returning, but she's going to be seeing him face to face. And what an incredible thing that is going to be for her to be in the presence of her Savior like that.
There's an old Southern gospel song, What a Day That Will Be.
Yeah.
When my Jesus I shall see. And I think about that with Mom. She is going to, anytime a saint goes home to be with the Lord and we rejoice because they're home and that's where we're all wanting to go, I think about how mind-blowing it is that person was with us and now they're like literally home.
Yeah.
Forever with our Redeemer. And that just, it makes me in awe of his goodness, his faith, his plan, his security, his right, like all the things that God does.
Yeah.
And when I think about Mom being whole again and not suffering and not having to like try to put a sentence together and she can't, and trying to remember people and she can't, and thinking about her mom and dad who are also stalwarts of the faith.
Yeah.
And she's been talking to them and talking about them. Even today, something happened and she called for her mom. She's going to see her mom. And she's going to see my brother.
Yep. Yeah. And that's because she knows him. She knows the Lord. And if you don't know him, then your eternity is very different. It's an eternity separated from him. And it's what the Bible calls hell. Now, the good news is none of us have to stay with that path towards hell. God has made an invitation, extended an invitation for us to come to faith in him. And we do that through Jesus. She's going to see Jesus face to face soon. And you could know that you are going to see Jesus face to face as you take your last breath as well. And there's no more important thing
No.
than
Nothing.
knowing where you are going to be spending your eternity. I mean, the 50, 60, 80, 90 years we may have on this earth may feel long, but in the light of eternity, it's nothing. It's a blink of an eye. But eternity with Jesus is something that you can know for sure. And if somebody wants to find out more, what's the best way, do you think?
I think our website would be a great place to start, or in the show notes. There's links there as well, but DawnandStevePlus.com. And we've got links for you so that you can have this conversation. Keep looking for those answers, because when the Lord is calling on your heart, when he's moving in your spirit and you're like, well, maybe I do want to know more about this, he's going to show you. He's going to show you the way to him. And that is through Jesus. So DawnandStevePlus.com.
Thanks for joining us for the Dawn and Steve Plus podcast. We're a listener-supported, non-profit podcast, and we're grateful for your generous support. You can give at dawnandsteveplus.com. Our producer is yours truly, Stephen Briggs, with assistance from Chris Westmoreland. Please like and subscribe to Dawn and Steve Plus anywhere you get your podcasts and on all our socials. Links to what we talk about and to Raphael's Roastery are in the show notes below. Thanks for joining us and being our plus one.